Okay, we're out the bath. The blind's not down today, so you've got the window behind us, but I hope that light's okay, because this is kind of where our stuff is. So we're in the Capricorn moon for another 3 minutes. It's 2:46 p.m. And although the Grandma Moon doesn't go into Aquarius until 6 something this evening, she goes void of course at 2:49. These were challenging energies for us to embrace again. Not as quite as challenging as a Scorpio, because the Scorpio didn't happen, whereas this has happened, even though there's only a few minutes left of Capricorn. And it's interesting that there's 3 minutes left. So this is a trigger warning now. And also just to say, everything that we do, we're doing for us first. This is so we can watch back. It's so that we can tap into the energies and do what we need to do in our body. And it's so we can watch back with our alternate personalities, so that we can all become co-conscious. We can witness ourselves, because we can't witness ourselves internally because of the wiring inside our body. We've been deaf, blind and dumb. There's some that kind of go on, but we have to do lots of private videos, lots of audio recordings and all kinds of stuff to witness ourselves, so that we know where we need to learn and grow and develop, and then different ones of us do different things to learn, grow and develop. So yeah, trigger warning. So yeah, don't do this is us showing you our process, because in the past, when we used to help learn by asking other people how they process certain things and how they got to a certain understanding or how they did something, the majority of people actually didn't know and couldn't work it out. But there was the odd one that used to do stuff like that. And they would, if they couldn't answer our questions, they would attempt to figure it out and then come back to us and say to us how they did it. Without having people around, we've had to figure out other ways to how to learn, etc., etc. And so this is one of them. And the best way we've found of learning and growing is to witness a process. So we're incorporating this also to be a live reality healing thing in hindsight and retrospect, because it was started in the psych ward when adult, or when certain ones of us weren't aware. And so these are the words, this is us finding the words to put to the experiences after they happen. Oh, look at that, the door's going. Hold on a sec. Okay, apologies for that. We can always edit out when we come back. So now we're in void of course energies, but we had a dash of Capricorn. So that's good, because we've got the Capricorn energies. When it's void of course, it means we're in our own energies without being influenced by any astrological signs. This is really good if anyone wants to get it. It's Vita Coco organic pressed coconut water, but it's in recyclable packaging, because a lot of this time this packaging isn't recyclable. Hand-picked from organic farms, and it's bio, not from concentrate. Where does it say bio? It says bio somewhere. There it is at the top, bio. So we're not sure if that means live bio. are still all learning a lot of that stuff. So yeah, we haven't got as much prepared as last time, because it was as I said, it's touch and go to get this done. Trigger warning, because our sexual abuser was a Capricorn from when we were a young age. One of our sexual abusers. So we've got finding little things everywhere. So this yellow thing was out of place, and we just found it randomly on the floor. So we put that up there because yellow is the solar plexus, so we can do that. So we just did get some relevant tuning forks out for this one, but otherwise it's going to be just a random go through, challenge ourselves, put ourselves on the spot a bit more, because at the end of the day, the main point of this is us showing up for ourselves and connecting into the energies and bringing our awareness to those energies energetically, which more in the being and the vibrations and the frequencies and the intention than it is in the words. The words are the ones that is most limiting and can cause misunderstanding. So this is more about the energetics. So we've just got out the Capricorn card to bring the energies into Capricorn. So that's a different symbol. There's a V, there's an N, and then there's that one. So there's a few different symbols for Capricorn. Capricorn is an earth sign and ruled by Saturn, which is the world card, and the number 21, the end of the cycle in the tarot. So we're going to put these two up here, Saturn and Capricorn. And again, we're dancing still, as always, with the Pisces. And that's the moon, by the way. It's the Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, moon energies that we're dancing with. But it's along with the consistent throughout all of this, the Pisces sun. Pisces rules the feet, and we are accessing it's a water sign, and we're accessing all parts, and the modern ruler is Neptune and the traditional ruler is Jupiter. So we had both of these with the Sagittarius, because Sagittarius is also ruled by Jupiter, but we're going to keep these all the way through as well, both of them, because it's the modern and the traditional. So we're aligning and interconnecting and integrating inside out, internal reality with the external reality, past, future and present together. So modern and traditional work together. So those are the energetics. As we talk, we're going to do the two tuning forks, 417 and 528. We mentioned these on the other one. So we're going to keep all the tuning forks the same, but there's going to be a few extra added in. So we're going to do these now as we talk, to balance ourselves, to ground ourselves, to connect ourselves into our heart. So what were we saying? So we're accessing every part of the body through feet reflexology, through the feet energies of Pisces, because then Pisces rules the feet, and you can access every part of the body through the feet. So it keeps us grounded as we access the internal energy, because the moon is the internal, the receptive, the feminine, and the sun is the external. So it'll be the sun external feet, Pisces, with the moon internal, whichever one we go through. So Sagittarius, which we did last time, was the liver, the hips, the thighs, the sacrum. We've had loads of energetics going on with all that area. Everything related to that. So this now going into Capricorn is going to be immense for us. Okay, so the shifting starting. We all take accountability and responsibility for ourselves. So if you're not comfortable with this or you feel anything, be patient, gentle, nurturing with yourself. You know your body best, you know yourself best. And if you feel like you don't, then your body's wanting you to get to know you better. So yeah, we're going to be all over the place. So yeah, the sacrum's in the pelvis area. So there's a bit of pelvis because the pelvis is related to Scorpio, and we couldn't do that one 12-12. And we couldn't do that one because it was too much for us to go there. But that's okay because we will get to there, but we'll get there at the end after we've connected lots of the other energetics. So Capricorn rules the backbone, the spine, which is hugely important. The joints, also hugely important, especially for us with our Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and our hypermobility. The knees, this area here is the knees as well. So we've been stretching a lot of these areas because it's tight, and also our like colon in here. Skin, hair, and bones. So we've had we don't have this as often anymore, but we've had our live bio vinegar, so vinegar with apple cider vinegar with mother, rice vinegar with mother, and red wine vinegar with mother. And we put in diatomaceous earth because diatomaceous earth is 89% silica, the foundation of life, and therefore it's the building blocks of life, and that helps the connective tissue, the fascia, which gives the surface for calcium to adhere to, and calcium is one of the main makeups of bones, as you say, with calcium and milk. Taking calcium supplements doesn't work. If we believe, personally, we're not a physician, you have to do your own research, but we believe if the body's deficient in calcium, it's because of one is lacking either what the body needs to make the calcium or what the body needs for the calcium to adhere to then make to, like when you're doing bricks, you can't just put bricks up, you need the cement to put the bricks up to build your house, or you need some form of glue in between, which brings us in. So we've had the diatomaceous earth, which is good for so many things, not just that, but it's also we've had all our different flours in our bread, the homemade sourdough bread. Sourdough is live bacteria, so we're continuing the live bacteria with the mother, with the kombucha, with the kefir. I think bio means live bacteria, so I think there's like the bacteria in that coconut water because it's bio, but it might not, it might just mean something else. Our fermented veg, our miso soup. Miso is not live bacteria. Miso is more really good for because the live bacteria is the probiotics. That's more of the prebiotics to feed it. But then, which is along with the psyllium husk, the rice bran, the orange peel. So we are putting the materials into our body needed to regenerate and rebuild our body back up after it disintegrated and the autonomic nervous system started giving up. It's taken years, but it's worth it because after years we're starting to see efforts, and before it wasn't as consistent. We've got a lot more consistent with since the psych ward. because we need to be chucked in the deep end for certain things to happen. And we couldn't go to hospital because we couldn't vocalize that it was physical. And plus, we do everything alternatively and naturally, so hospital wouldn't have been suitable for us anyway. And plus, all the alternate personalities knew this. And whatever it is we're going to do for our career and our future, it's going to be linked around alternative stuff. And so therefore, experiencing the mental hospital from the inside and working in a care facilities and stuff means that we've experienced both sides, all sides. So we're going to continue to bring in some more tuning forks. We are bringing in, we're going to do these three. We've got the high on set, 544 40 hertz and 272 20 hertz, and the high om set creates an energy field around our body. It promotes relaxation, it balances the chakras of our body, and it helps us in meditation and connects us to the cosmos. It also has a pain relieving effect on our body, which we all like because we have been in the garden doing some back-breaking weeding yesterday to get to the garden all ready for our food, which also makes us very tired and exhausted, hence why we didn't end up doing this last night, because we just didn't have any energy left to do it. And preparing the beds for our food to grow is more important than doing this, and we got there today. And we're also going to do these the high om set with G sharp, one of the sharps, and the sharps are the black keys of the keyboard and the white keys are like the chakras. So the sharps kind of connect the chakra notes, so there's a overlapping spectrum of resonance. And 400 is the brain stem. So because we're on the backbone, and the skin and the hair, even though the skin and the hair is on the outside, the backbone and then the joints and the knees are on the inside. So they are all the structure that the nervous system kind of goes through. So we thought the brainstem would be important to kind of, if you've got the brainstem aligning its frequency and you've got the others relying on the frequency, the bones, etc., then together they can oscillate and find their way around. So we're going to do these three together with, first of all, we've got the 3 Ottos, and they're weighted. So the difference between these is the weighted ones more go directly kind of onto the body and into the bones. So they're like heavier and can send the vibrations into the body rather than working on the field. We tend to put these ones on our body as well. Our little ones tend to do whatever they're intuitively drawn to, because all of this is about developing our intuition, developing our observation skills so that we can interact with each other, etc. But it can be really good to do the weighted ones with these other ones. So we're just going to tap them away from this. Start with the 128. Because the 128, we can just read the G sharp to you, the 400 hertz. We've done that because it's 4, the number 4 on its own, and we were 4 to 5 the first time the incest sexual abuse happened. So the brainstem, G sharp, this is the frequency of the brainstem. The brainstem is the lower part of the brain adjoining the structurally continuous with the spinal cord. Adjoining and structurally continuous with the spinal cord. This is an extremely important part of the brain, as the nerve connections of the motor and sensory systems from the main part of the brain to the rest of the body pass through the brain stem. The brainstem also plays an important role in the regulation of cardiac and respiratory function. It also regulates the central nervous system and is pivotal in maintaining consciousness and regulating the sleep cycle. The colour is royal blue. So we didn't read all that a minute ago, but we were intuitively drawn to it, and we did get the brain out as well, which we'll do with the organ set in a minute. So we've got the brain and the brain stem. We've got that hump bit building up there as well, which is kind of connected to the brain stem, and we think that all kind of relates to certain things that is to do with motor functioning, because we do spaz out a lot and we are overstimulated with certain things like that with the sensory system. And with the Otto tuning fork set, So we'll do the talking now, so we can then just do the relaxing. With the Otto tuning fork set, we're starting with 128 C. The Otto tuning forks are used for relaxation and for sending vibrations into the bones. They're the weighted ones. They're available in 3 different frequencies. This tuner is tuned to the frequency of 128 hertz. That's what we're doing first. It vibrates at a low pitch due to its weighted prongs. You may start your explorations of working with Otto tuners of various frequencies with the 128 and then graduate to other frequencies like the 64 and then the 32. This fork is especially effective when placed on the sternum, vertebra and meridian points. So there's the sternum and then the vertebrae is going down the spine. The Otto tuner is the note of C in the diatonic scale. And these frequencies project sound into physical body, especially in the bones. The effect is to replenish the tone of the tissues and to align them well. Great for sore muscles and relaxation of the bones. So we could do some of that as well, because we want to get back out in the garden again this afternoon, but I don't know if we will. 128 hertz is used for grounding and relaxation. So this would be good to continue grounding us in first with the Pisces feet energies before we then go on to do, and it will really take us into our body so that we're relaxed and we're in the body, so that we can listen with our whole body when we then portray a bit of information to take in, and not to take the information in with the conscious mind, but to stay in the body and just let the body absorb what it needs to absorb. This frequency is also used by EMTs and paramedics to locate fractures in the bones. And then we'll go on to C32, and we'll keep the tune. We'll keep doing it with the G, the brain stem, and the high om and the high om set. And C works with the skin and hair, because Capricorn rules the skin and the hair, to stimulate nerves and hair, and it's also good for grounding. And then we'll end on 64 hertz, which is higher than 32. Which helps loosen sacral ligaments. We're on the sacrum and the last energies of Sagittarius, and stimulate and balance between the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, useful in emotional trauma and grounding. So that's why we're going to do 64 last, because it's balancing the parasympathetic and the sympathetic on the nervous systems. Also hence why we did the brain and the brain stem, so it's connecting all the main parts of the body. So we'll just get them out and put them out ready. So we want to do a 64 last, and we want to do, so if you look at the size difference, this is the 128, that's the 64, and that's the 32. So we're going to do the 64 last out of these, this one first and then this one. Put that one up there. So however your bodies feel drawn, just allow your body to do what it needs to do, and allow your breath to do what it needs to do. This is about learning to listen to your body and go with your body's needs. Because you're tapping into our energetic fields, you'll be receiving this sound healing too. So we're just going to put these into the other hand, and we're going to get the 32 hertz for the skin and the hair. Everything that we're doing with our tongue is our ShintoSEYE practice, mouth yoga, tongue yoga, accessing different reflex points on the face to align the internal body. Okay, we're just going to turn our slow cooker down, and the body needs to move and move a sec for us. We're holding on to our hammock. It just did something before it was going to fall. I can tell you now, we won't be going in the garden later, much to our disappointment. We've done 2 days in a row, not 2 days, a couple of hours each day. We just got out of the bath and we are sore. We didn't put Epsom salts in the bath, but we were having a quick we achieved quite a bit this morning. We're just checking on here because it just turned a certain planetary hour time of the day. So we're accessing what time is it? 3:16. So it's Mercury time now, 3:17, number 10. Number 10, so it's the 10th planetary hour, which is Mercury. So that's good for expression and communication. Number 10, Capricorn, is actually ruler of the 10th house in the collective natal chart. Capricorn for us is in our 5th house and Gemini is in the 10th house. So that's cool. So keep that up while we're still doing the sounding of the sound forks. So we're going to take these back again and we're going to end with 64 hertz with the high arm set and the G sharp of 400. But this time we're going to put these 3 down. And we're going to bring out, actually no, we're going to keep the brain stem. So I'm going to keep G sharp, 400 hertz of the brain stem. And we're going to bring in brain and blood instead of the high om set. So we've got brain, blood, brain stem with 64 hertz to balance out the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. And this is your spine going down here. So we're going to swap hands with these. So thank you, 32 hertz. Thank you, our weighted Otto tuning forks. We're now going to put the brainstem G sharp down. We're going to keep the brain and the blood, and because we've got the brain and the blood, and because we've been using the Otto for the body, we're now going to take in the fat cells. We won't do the liver, we'll leave the liver. That's the one we had from last time. And the bone. So we've got the bone, the fat cells, blood, and brain. Okay, put them down. It looks like this is going to be more of just a sound healing energetics one. And now we're going to go up to the planets. So we've got the sun and the moon, the solar plexus, and the sacral chakra, because they're the energies we're dancing with, the Capricorn moon and the Pisces sun. So because Pisces has got the modern ruler of Jupiter, Neptune, and the traditional ruler of Jupiter, we have the planets of Jupiter and Neptune, which we'll do with the moon. And then we have Saturn, because Saturn's the ruler of Capricorn, and we'll do that with the sun. And we'll swap the hands, and then that will be it. Because of our hypermobility and all the jarring, that's us it's the body realigning itself and us allowing the body to do what it needs. We may not be talking in the younger ones, but we are mainly in the younger ones at the moment, which will probably become apparent in a minute when we attempt to start figuring out what knowledge we're going to read and stuff. And plus we do this differently. The younger ones do it differently to other altars, and they're a lot more heavy-handed. So there's lots going on with our scar tissue around our jaw, and on our left rib cage there's stuff sucking in underneath the floating rib, which always ends up really hurting. So thank you, beautiful tuning forks. Thank you, all of us. Thank you, energies. We'll take these down now so they're not distracting. We'll do the other cards up at the end. We don't need to read the human organs. I'm sure we didn't read them the other day. Actually, we will read them, because the human organ tuners are a set of 15 tuning forks. They represent the 15 main parts of all organs of the physical human body. An organ is a tissue that performs a specific function or group of functions. Usually there is a main tissue and sporadic tissues. The main tissue is the one that is unique for the specific organ. These tuning forks are tuned to the frequencies of healthy human tissue. Barbara Hero and the International Lambdoma Research Institute discovered these. Sound waves were passed through healthy organs, and the frequency was found using the speed of sound. And then for Saturn, it's blue, which is the brainstem was blue as well, wasn't it? Capricorn in the 10th house, it supports the ability for concentration, the general process of gaining consciousness, and shows very clearly karmic connections. It brings structure and order, encourages reassessment and self-discipline, deeper connection with crystals and gems, brings spirit into form, encourages structure, promotes commitment. So they're all very beneficial energies that we can all do with. Saturn is about contraction, it's about boundaries and limitations, knowing our healthy boundaries, knowing that our boundaries change in the moment, knowing our limitations, expanding the comfort zone but without breaking them. And all of this, we've had physical in the garden. We were going to do a bit more than what we were going to do yesterday, but then we realized that would be pushing our boundaries out of our comfort zones and not good for us physically, which is the patterns we've done in the past and that we're breaking out of. But we did push ourselves to our limits within our comfort zones, hence why we couldn't do anything else afterwards, because we've used up our limits to that. Hence the importance of doing a bit in the kitchen this morning. We didn't do any video editing yesterday, so we kind of got a day behind. So we got that done this morning, but we still need to do today's to stay on top of ourselves, because we're already working back from getting behind anyway. So we're juggling quite a few things, but this is the idea, to juggle a few things, because if we want to train ourselves and reprogram ourselves and get ourselves financially self-sufficient again, we need to be able to wash, eat, clean the house, do the garden and do work all at once. And so that's training, reprogramming, playing everything. And in the bath today, even we managed to give it a quick clean afterwards, which we haven't done for a while. So there's lots of little things we did today, even though we wanted to do this, which was unexpected, but needed. So I'm really proud of our little auntie. Yeah, you did amazing. Because the weekends are for them and their choice. So for them to be, and they mainly hold the body, so for us to be doing all this and all the cleaning, it shows that we're all in agreement that we do want to move forward and we do want to be the best version of us and achieve our dreams and be self-sufficient and extra. And they know how good it is growing the food and eating the food, because it really makes us all feel better. Our cravings for all the sweets and chocolates, we get it occasionally, but we've come up with stuff that's nowhere near as tasty or as yummy. But we have our homemade chocolate made with dark chocolate powder, carob powder, coconut powdered milk, with maple syrup or honey, and then we've got our carob drops. We've got the biscuits that we make, we've got dried fruits, so we've got the things that we have instead, which never used to suffice, but it's starting to suffice now. And so that's amazing. And the weight's starting to fall off as well. Not that the weight matters, but we use that as a gauge just out of interest. Haven't stood in it for a little while actually, but we were fluctuating. We were fluctuating around 15.5 for ages, and then we've been fluctuating to around 14.5, and there's been a couple of times where we've got down to 14. But we know from past on our body dysmorphia that we can look in the mirror one day and be really skinny, and then look in the mirror the next day and feel really fat. And we know from the journey since the seizures to now, we've looked in the mirror and our head's been from back to front. We've looked in the mirror and we've had limbs missing, so there's nothing there. And that shows that network in the brain and the body just aren't functioning. It's crazy stuff to go through, but it goes to show that we can't trust our sense of perception and looking in that way. So using the scales don't want to come into a pattern like that, so it just happens on odd occasions, and we do it more of a scientific thing to measure our height and measurements. We haven't done any of that for ages, but the main thing is the clothes. But because we mainly wear leggings because there's no point in buying clothes, we don't leave the house, but we don't really fit into our old clothes. But when we do, that will be a gauge of it again. Plus, we don't have to do anything. Whenever we put liquid in ourselves, whenever we eat anything, our stomach just expands. We've had this massive pregnant stomach for ages, but that is going down. But we know what's going on there because the stomach is what creates the slack. So every time we have releases and every time we talk and communicate, that creates more releases and rippage in the fascia, which then makes the stomach go and expand again. But it's the stomach that pulls everything in from elsewhere, and the shape of our legs, the alignment of our legs, with the way they're meant to twist, everything is really improving. But sometimes things will look like it's getting worse because it has to do something somewhere else, and this is about releasing the tension, releasing the slack, like the guide ropes, etc. Because we've been talking about the house, we're going to work backwards this time and go on the feng shui kind of style, and which chakra. Capricorn is earth, so I'm guessing that Capricorn is related to the root chakra. Because it's sense of security. But let's just see. And then we can relate it to the house. So we're just going to do a quick Google. Capricorn chakra. Born under Saturn rule, Capricorn's strongest chakra is the root chakra. It stands for general mental, physical well-being. And because Saturn is the 3D dimension contractions, physical form, it makes sense that it's the root chakra. And that's so because we knew that ourselves first, we're starting to understand the interconnectedness and the different things which we couldn't before. And different ones of us are understanding, but we're managing to understand the different ones of us to be able to bring them all together. So now if we go to where the root chakra is related into the house, this is a chakra healing for the home by Jennifer Stevens, if you want to have a look at it. So if we go down to the root chakra, Muladhara, root chakra, kitchen, toilet, basement, crawl spaces. So I suppose that's a space where you can't stand up and you have to crawl. We tend to do crawl a lot, and we crawl backwards as part of the realignment of the body. I don't know, maybe, I don't know if we were a quick walker and if we didn't learn to crawl properly or something. But it's been quite crucial for the realignment of the body. We do a lot of walking backwards. So this makes sense also why we got on top of the kitchen this morning. It wasn't that dirty, but we had a lot of clean stuff to put away. And we had the stuff from making and baking bread yesterday. And the toilet, we have actually cleaned the toilet. We've been attempting to clean the bathroom, but it's been basic cleans. We have done the toilet a couple of times since we've been attempting to clean it. But today was the first time of doing the bath, because we do the bath when we're in it. If we do the bath when we're out, we have to bend over, and that's back breaking. And because we can't do too many maneuvers like that, if we are going to do maneuvers like that, it has to be prioritized, and therefore the weeding of the garden got prioritized out the back because it's lower beds. But if we're in the bath, it's so you don't have to bend over like that when you're cleaning it. So we've got a special cloth, and we use like the little ones use over the leftover soap. So that's a good basic clean that we've done on that. So that's really cool. But it does say toilet, not bathroom. So that's interesting. The root chakra represents stability, balance, and physical survival. It is also our connection to our ancestors. An underactive root chakra is characterized by excessive worries about money, paranoia, and feeling disconnected. And I suppose DID and dissociation is a form of disconnection. Addiction is a form of disconnection, because we don't believe in addiction, but we do believe the lack of connection, which is disconnection, isn't it, really? The root chakra is about survival and sustenance. And since we literally sustain ourselves with food, the kitchen is the perfect representation of this. The kitchen, actually, we've got really sorted in a few of the cupboards underneath the sink as well. But we do have to get on with cleaning the oven and things, but that's another big job. Take a look at your kitchen. Is it neat, tidy, and ready to use, or is it a cluttered and dirty mess? Is it bright and filled with fresh food, or dark with barren shelves? But all our food's whole food, and mostly in like kilner jars and out. We really have made an effort with that. Excessive clutter, and even our cupboard with our Tupperwares in is organised. We did that last, that took ages, but we did that over Christmas. Excessive clutter or general messiness indicate that it's time to put more effort into self-care of this chakra. It's also important when working with the Muladhara chakra to be mindful of plumbing issues or leaking pipes, and especially any issues that concern the toilet, such as broken handles or a constantly running toilet. We bought a new toilet seat, but this is where things take ages with our younger alters, and unlimited funds. Even though we used to be a bookkeeper and accountant, we don't have access to the brain networks anymore, and they're not very good at adding up. So we bought a new toilet seat, but the toilet seat doesn't fit properly. So the first one broke and cracked with our weight, and the second one doesn't fit properly and slides over the place and has another bit, because there's got the little bits between the toilet seats that sit on the toilet bowl. That's plastic and that cracked, and I don't know what their cost. So we have got the other toilet seat that fitted, so that when whichever altars are out, we can measure that up properly to measure up a new toilet seat. And then we're going to buy things like toilet stoppers that stop it sliding all over the place. So that is something that needs to be sorted. And again, that's to do with alignment of the root chakra, I suppose, isn't it? And it's to do with two components. It doesn't leak, and the rest of it's all clean and tidy. We don't have any other leaks, but we do have a bit of a black mold problem that we're just starting, so we need to get on top of that. And we have had some leaks in the kitchen, but I don't know where these leaks are, because they leak sometimes and they don't leak other times. So, but we are going to get on top of that too, with the landlord. But there's nothing major going on. It's just little tweaks here and there. So it's a garnet, jasper, onyx or rubies. So that's interesting to hear, and they're all stuff that we are gently getting on with slowly. But now when we watch this back, because we've almost watched the other one back, we just got a bit at the end, so we'll probably watch that before the last bit of that after this, because that'll then connect the energies and sandwich them in. And then when we watch this one back again, that will be a starting point to, I don't know, connecting into some of the altars that might end up getting some of it done. I know tomorrow we're going to be on a bit of an admin and a phone call day, which we've been attempting to sort out electric for ages, and we got a new internet and phone contract, but they've not so far adhered to what they said they're going to give us. So we have to wait until we do stuff like that, because it's kind of focusing energies in a kind of negative complaining way. So we have to be very strong in ourselves to be able to deal with that and manage that, because if we're in a very sensitive, vulnerable place ourselves, then we can't go there. And plus we have to be in the right altars. If we're not in the right altars to start with, then there's no chance. But then if we are in the right altars, the mental state has to be in alignment for it. So hopefully tomorrow that's going to get done, and all the astrological energies are good for it. So we've done that one, we've done that. No, they're the same until the 28th, so that's cool. So we're in the last couple of days of the patched tarot, because we're the 27th today. So we are in, which is cool, because we're actually in Saturn. So we are dancing with Saturn energies at the moment, because Saturn's the ruler of Capricorn, and we're a moon Capricorn today. But we're also on 10 days of Capricorn and the 8 of Cups, according to Patch Tarot, until tomorrow. And then the 1st of March, we go into Jupiter energies and 9 of Cups energies. So that's interesting. And we did just read the root chakra in there. We'll read this one as well, and then we'll go and do the seed sound, because we did that the other day too. So far we're kind of doing okay going through it, aren't we? The first chakra, Muladhara, the root chakra, the material, the physical being, daring to be, and survival belong to the first chakra. It is also associated with eating, drinking, security, money, and work. In its most primitive form, this chakra is expressed in fighting and martial arts, noise, violence, accumulation of possessions for their own sake, judging others without nuance, dichotomous, good and bad thinking. When it is blocked, one does not have both feet on the ground. There is fear, exhaustion, difficulty in dealing with physical reality, which is us, hence why we're doing all these challenges. So getting in the bath, we got in the bath late, but it meant that we had to be quicker in the bath. I think we're only like 45 minutes to an hour, whereas 2 hours is normally quick for us. Back in the day, we hated baths, and 20 minutes was a long time. When everything started going funny, way before the seizures, and summer 2015, we had an episode where we went into a paralyzed state and were stuck in the bath for 7 hours. So yeah, When it is blocked, one does not have both feet on the ground. There is fear, exhaustion, difficulty in dealing with physical reality. When the energy circulates freely, one enjoys mental and physical stability and a seemingly endless capacity for work. One displays reliability and radiance. The first chakra is between the anus and the genitals. The coccyx up to the lower part of the sacrum is the corresponding portion of the spinal column. So all of this is really connecting in those energies from the Sagittarius moving with the sacral. We've never actually been rooted or grounded in our root chakra. So when we have this, it's just amazing. We can foresee a future finally without physical pain, and we've been in pain for 42 years. So that is amazing, and it's something that's amazing to look forward to, because it's like having life for the first time. You know, when anyone that's lived with chronic pain and protruding discs and it's horrific. So we've got a few things here out, but just before we do these, we're going to show you on the feet. So the spine, can we get you over here, please, baby bones? So the spine, oops. So you look at baby bones' foot here. This is your baby toe. This is your big toe side, which is your inner foot, all the way from your heel. Your heel is your coccyx, and then going all the way up the arch to your big toe. Your big toe is your neck and your head. So you can just push your finger along it. They can call that like the walk. You can twist it, you can rub it, you can just lay your hand on it. All of doing that will help massage your spine. So for instance, as we're talking now, you might just want to get your palm and just gently rest your palm on your spine, or you might want to squeeze it or tap it or rub it, just as I'm talking to you now and showing you these pictures. So I'm going to start with this one. So the root chakra in particular, because we've been talking about the root chakra, is the red. So it's all of your heel area, and that relates down to your coccyx down here. But it's Capricorn energies rule your backbone, which is your whole spine. So hence it's all of that. So your head's the top bit. So if you go to just like the bottom, just below the bottom of your big toenail, and then all the way down the arch foot, and you'll massage your whole spine. So your neck area up here, your thoracic in blue, your thoracic in green, your lumbar in yellow, your sacrum in orange, and red for your root chakra. I'm just looking, I don't think there's actually anything really, because it's your skin and your hair, your backbones, your knees. Is there anything particular for your knees on here? I don't think there is. Oh, there is. Your knee and your elbow. So if you go to your baby foot side, it's kind of hard. I'll show you on here. So see that knee word where it's pointing? It's pointing to here, your knee and your elbow. And it's on your baby foot side. There's your heel and your coccyx. So it's just above. So if you kind of just do that whole part, this is your where we showed you on the spine, going all the way up to there. And then your coccyx, the root chakra being here. But if you go to the other side, that's your knee. So we're going to go on to that one because we do have really big knee issues, and that's the same on both of them. But if not, your skin and hair doesn't really, because your hair's everywhere and your skin's everywhere, so they don't really have a thing for them. So we got out your senses because of here. It's the touch sense. Because of the touch sense, you have your hair shaft and you have the hair. So you may just, and skin. Skin is about touching. Your hairs are sensory impulses, everything. So that's like all your hairs, your skin. If you ever do get in touch with your gut instinct, or you have a knowing, you get shivery tingles, or if you get goosebumps, or your hairs all stand on end, you know there's been an activation in your peripheral nervous system, because your peripheral nervous system, which is your external, your limbs of action, your hands and feet and legs and arms. And then you've got your central nervous system, which is the main channel going down. And then you have your parasympathetic and your sympathetic. And one of us knows all these, but it's not me. But I don't know if you have your parasympathetic and sympathetic in the peripheral and your parasympathetic and sympathetic in the central nervous system. I know some of us know this, but it'll be interesting now I said this out loud on here, because then we'll get the information come through in the way that it's meant to. So surface anatomy, because we're talking about skin. So you've got all of your surface anatomy there, all of your skin around your whole body. So it's just love your body, caress your body, touch your body, bring yourself into your body. Don't judge your body. Don't look at the fat or this, that, the other. Just love it for what it is and know that it's doing amazing. And your body is the one thing that unconditionally loves you. You are your body. It's not about being out of your body. It's about being in your body, and your heart. Your heart's got something like 5,000 times the amount of neurons than your brain, and is so much bigger. Your body is your bacterial community systems that make up your cellular community systems that make up your body. Every single bacteria and cell has its own expression of consciousness. So for us to get consciousness in a collective understanding way, we have to be in a symphony, orchestra, harmony with all our bacterial and cellular communities of our body. Our gut biome, really important for healthy, diverse bacteria in the gut biome. We have a skin biome, we have a nose biome, your respiratory system. So for instance, goat's kefir, you can have that internally, but you can also get goat's kefir soap to put on your skin, so you're putting the bacteria on your skin. We do all of this because it's about getting those frequencies from the inside out and the outside in, and that's how we align it. So it all works. Here's got your knee, your patella, your medial condyle of femur, your knee crease, your popliteal swelling. So you can just have a look at the knee area there, because we're a visual learner. So just looking at the knee area and looking at the joints and the shading and the muscles all helps us, especially if we're to look at the skeleton. We'll just show you the back area of the skin. The whole body, your skin goes everywhere. Your dermatitis or something, isn't it? Dermatis. Bones is going flying. We'll put Bones up there for now, shall we? So you've got your knee. Your knee bends. Capricorn does the knee. You've got your patella. You've got your nerves that come down here. So yeah, we have real knee issues. So you can look at the bones. You can look at the skin that goes around the bones, and Capricorn does the knees, the bones, the backbone, and the skin, and the hairs, and the hair on the head. So that's the peripheral, every surface area of the body, and the bits that come out with the deepest bone. So what we're saying there, yes, it's the root chakra because survival, but it's also, we feel, the crown chakra, because the red and the purple join together. If you put blue in with red, you get purple. So the communication and red, indigo, dark purple, red with white gives you pink, the deeper heart. So if none of that's functioning, none of the rest is going to be functioning. It's not really, I don't know really what meridian to do for this, but there is number 0.35. But I don't really know where they relate to as such. But on your inner knee, you've got a meridian starting, which is your SP, which is your spleen. And you've got one just on your kneecap, on the outer edge of your kneecap towards the outer knee. But otherwise, the meridians aren't suited for this right now. Joints and ligaments. So we've just been talking, it's the backbone and the brainstem. So this is what we've just done with the tuning forks, with the bones tuning forks, the blood tuning forks, the brainstem tuning forks, and the brain tuning forks. It's also the knee, which isn't on there. Here we go, some knee ligaments. Because the ligaments are what join the bones together. The ligaments are like the guide ropes of the tent that hold the tent taut. So you need to have healthy ligaments to have a healthy structured body that kind of walks in a posturally aligned, healthy manner. With Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, it's the ligaments that have a lot of issues. And then we've got the skeletal system. So that's the ligaments, knee front and knee back. This is reversed for us now here, but we did actually acknowledge that it's the right way round on the other when we were watching it back. So we've got the backbone again. And then the whole bone system, because it's all of the bones at the end of the day. And that's the alignment we're looking to get to. And then we've got the nervous system. Because for the nervous system to function optimally, the nervous system travels through, this is the baby bones, it shows us the nerves. The nerves travel through the structure of the bones. So if we aren't posturally and structurally aligned in our bones, then we're not going to have an aligned nervous system. If our ligaments aren't working, then our bones aren't going to be aligned. So this is all what we're dancing together to put together to gain the alignment. A bit of a glare, but when we do this down the line, if we do use this, we can edit it and put on proper pictures so that there's like B-roll talking, etc. on top of it. And then we've got cutaneous innervation, dermatomes and peripheral nerve distribution, which tells you where certain areas go to. Okay. So yeah, I think that's going to be it today. We've told you where it is on the feet. There's not really much to show you in the colouring book. Apart from the 12 chakra auric system. Oh, I was going to say, where's the first? First auric field, red, provides primal protection. So this is how our auric fields kind of go out, and then you'd colour it in. We do have like little pictures. They're kind of on the front, on the thumbnail a bit, really. Yeah, it's a bit hard to know on this one. It would just be because it's your skin and your bones and it relates to the whole body. It would be about just gently, lovingly get in a position where you can just stroke your feet, get both hands and stroke your feet down. rub your feet, so that if you stroke your feet from the toes down, then you'll be bringing your energy down your body. If you stroke your feet from your heels up to your toes, then you'll be bringing the energy from the bottom of your body up. Or you can do it opposite. So just, twist your feet, have a play, do it while you're sitting there watching TV, have a look at your ankles, just get to know your feet, press your feet, love your feet, and know that in caressing and loving and understanding and getting to know and understand and feel your feet, then and you can give yourself reflexology by going out for a barefoot walk on slightly, gravelly ground, or on the beach. It's really good for your ankles walking on the beach, but just walking barefoot grounds you as well, gets the electromagnetic energies through the earth, so it's changing your ionic state, which de-stresses. And yeah, just love your feet. Give yourself a foot bath, soak your feet in some warm water and Epsom salts and some essential oils. Put a foot mask on your feet. Yeah, we have a foot mask. We could do that sometime. We've been wanting to put some garlic on our feet with some cling film as well, haven't we, to absorb the toxins out. We've done that once before in the past. So maybe we could get on and do that too, my lovelies. So if we're going to just look in here and do a foot reading thing, what can we... Meanings of the toes. But we're doing root chakra, aren't we? So we don't really want to do the meanings of the toes if we're doing Capricorn. Is there any heel stuff? Because the heel area was Capricorn and the root chakra, wasn't it? Heels, cracked, 107. Skin. Let's do skin, because Capricorn rules the skin. So thank you, 103. So this is from this book. Let's read our feet. So this is what the skin on your feet, this is what it's telling you. Skin represents our reaction to life. Think of the phrase getting under my skin. Any differences of the skin of the feet can show you what's happening with that person. The first place the body detoxes is through the skin. I find one of the most amazing things about skin is that in 6 months' time, every skin cell in your body will have been replaced with a new one. Yet the calluses and corns and blemishes will remain. And so that's interesting, because we learned from Nassim Haramein that every cell has a lifespan and it's always producing new cells. But 7 years, you have an entirely whole new body, and that's been keeping us going. Our cells seem to have a memory. So this is linking us into saying that every cell and every bacteria has its own consciousness. If you can release the emotional issue, you can see changes on the skin as a direct result. Remember also to take note of the vertical and horizontal zones where any blemishes appear on the feet. This will give you an idea of what the issue is behind the emergence of the imbalance showing on the skin. So if you were to look up reading your feet or on Google, you get a position where it do stripes going down, because your baby is a sense of security. So going down your feet from the baby foot, baby toe, all the way down in a line, that would be related to sense of security. And a line going down from the toe next to your baby toe would be your relating, thinking, feeling, feeling, thinking. And then you have horizontal ones going across as well that relate to the bottom and the top of the body. And depending what area, so you understand what the blemish means, whether it's a rash, a corn, etc., a cracked skin, and then you relate it to the part of the thingy. So you can put these together to understand then specifically what it's telling you about your body. Remember also to take note of the vertical and horizontal zones where any blemishes appear on the feet. This will give you an idea of what the issue is behind the emergence of the imbalance showing on the skin. Calluses. Protection. Either protecting from others or protecting from yourself. Callous story. I attended a party once where a group of ladies had gathered to purchase items in the comfort of someone's home. At the party, a lady approached me and asked me if I'd mind having a look at her feet because she'd had a corn on it that she had not been able to get rid of. It'd been there for years. She'd been meaning to ask me at the last fundraiser I'd done, but I'd been fully booked and the opportunity hadn't arisen. So I had a look at her feet. On her right, past foot, below the fourth, family and communications, toe, on the ball of the foot, emotions as they are playing out in your life now, she had a huge callus that had turned yellow and had a crater formed in the middle. I could see it was thoughts relating to a family issue that had not been fully resolved and was now affecting her emotional life as a result. She had tried to protect herself, but was fed up, yellow, that's what fed up it is, at having to protect her emotions, and now it was eating away at her, the crater. It was well overdue for resolution. I decided to take the question and answer approach. I asked her how long she had had this corn. She explained that it had been there since her daughter was born 6 years ago. On further questioning, she explained that she's normally the type of person who would weep at movies over the slightest thing and was very emotional and sentimental. Titobo! Yeah, it does sound like us, doesn't it? When her first child was born, she'd therefore expected to feel a lot of emotion. But when they'd handed her child to her at the hospital for the first time after the birth, she didn't feel anything. If anything, she felt numb. When the second child was born, it was completely different, and she experienced all her feelings and emotions, but felt guilty about the difference in reaction from the first birth. By this time, everyone at the party had stopped what they were doing and were listening. One by one, they started to share with her their experiences of birth and postnatal depression. It was a very warm and supportive atmosphere, and I feel the lady had a lot of love and support and help from their sharing. All this time, I'd had one finger over the calloused area. As I took my hand away, someone behind me exclaimed that the callus had reduced. Indeed, it had not only reduced in size, but the crater had gone and the colour had changed from yellow to red. Now we're getting really emotional. So it's amazing and powerful how quickly that can happen. So what's that saying is that when we talk and when we express, then it releases from the body. But when we don't know what to talk about or what to express, then how does one do that? So we've been doing it through our audio diaries. We just talk and we keep doing it, and it's working. It's clearing the physical pain in the body. Now, we came onto this and it was hard work for us to come onto it because of the connections between the Capricorn energies and one of our sexual abusers from a young age. Now, this is connecting us into our mum, because we were told that we were always attached to our mum's hip. Now, we've learned that when a child is really attached to their mum's hip, then it means there's a feeling of insecurity. And now we know that our mum had emotional issues, and we feel in talking about this that she maybe suffered from postnatal depression with us. We know that we were trouble in our mum's stomach and that we were very hard. So we feel that in us talking about that and those emotions coming up and now expressing it like this, that we're clearing out those issues on a deep level. We also believe, another one of us believes from a different perspective, more from a soul perspective and a higher intelligence, energetic, non-body, non-human form emotion perspective, that my mum's soul energetics is us. So me and my mum were the same soul energetics, and we split off into two people. She did her, but then she also did me. And that would make sense if one was going to say, well, we all come from the same source energy anyway, so it's just like a family tree and it gets weaker and weaker. But there are apparently some souls that can incarnate in many bodies, but it uses up a lot of energy. And we feel that that may have been the case with her energy and our energy, and that she couldn't sustain it. And so that's why she ended up taking her life in whatever form. think she was intoxicated. So, but that was what was in the highest good, because she was very shamanic and into nature. We believe we believe the emotional issues were just her connected to consciousness and connected to Mother Gaia and feeling the pain of everything, which isn't mental issues that could be solved today, like we read in an extract that we were given from someone else's opinion. Their opinion is that she was mentally disturbed and it would have been treated today and she would have been okay. Our opinion is that she would have been treated today with stuff to suppress it, but actually she was just connected to nature and could feel all the pain. And it wouldn't have necessarily sorted her out. It would have numbed her and just given her medication, because we feel that we've gone through similar things that she's gone through, and the medication was actually harmful for us. But then as the generations go down, the younger generations get more and more sensitive to these things as well. So thank you, energies, for clearing out all this really deep childhood trauma as we're tapping into this, by caressing and loving our body, by being grateful for our body, because our beautiful bouncy bacteria and our happy cells are what the consciousnesses, all their individual consciousnesses, make up our consciousness. And we love you, body, and you have our back, and you've got us, and we've got you from now on, and you know we have, because we feed you the food and that you need, and we wash you and we clean you, and we do everything that we need, and we love you and we're grateful for you, and we are going to do so much for you that we haven't done for you in the past, because we didn't know any better. And we were dissociating, and we were very physically and mentally vulnerable and ill, but at the same time very strong and protected with it. Whew. Very deep clearing as usual going on. I understand that this lady was very emotional afterwards and did cry for a few days. However, the callus was reduced within 3 days to the tiniest speck. In releasing the blocked emotions, the feet were able to return back to balance. When reading calluses, I tend to use the map of the foot to interpret which area or topic they are feeling the need to protect. However, there are 2 areas in the foot where I would have a specific reading for the callus that supersedes the map of the foot. For the area of the vertical zone 5 and the horizontal zone 2, that is the area of the ball of the foot below the little toe, I would use my knowledge of reflexology to understand that this area represents the shoulder reflex. So how I would phrase it to the client is, you have a lot of responsibilities weighing heavy on your shoulders. And we had so much that this whole one over here broke, and that's the left, that's the present. And so we find it fascinating that we got drawn to this because it was the skin. It's releasing emotional issues, and it's now connecting us into our shoulder energetics to realign them. For the area of the vertical zone 1, horizontal 2, that is the area of the ball of the foot directly below the big toe, of which we have issues with as well, on both our feet. I would read hard skin here as feeling the need to protect your self-esteem. It would indicate that there are influences impacting the self-esteem, hence the need for protection. Corn, similar to a callus, protection of a specific issue, inability to release emotion over a past trauma, where it appears will give you more information. Peeling, if the skin peels off in one go, it would be a fresh start or new beginning relating to the meaning of that area of the foot. If the skin is constantly peeling, then you think you've let go of the issue, but it keeps coming back until you deal with it fully. Peeling skin story. No, we're not going to read all of it. Itching. Itching indicates irritation. Use the map of the foot to understand in which area of their life they're experiencing irritation. Cracked. A crack indicates feeling divided. Use your map of the foot to determine what they are feeling divided over. Cracks on the heels indicate obstacles that you feel you have to overcome before you can move forward and take the next steps. A crack below the ball of the foot in vertical zone 1, separating horizontal zones 2 and 3, would indicate heartbreak or grief. So we've got a few cracks like that. Lines. A deep line on the fact, we're probably more of a line. A deep line on the foot can be read as the same as a crack. That is, you would see it as a division or separation, and then use the zones, etc. Ripples, often on the plantar aspect of the foot, on the upper and lower instep, you will see the skin ripple, a bit like how the sand goes when the tide goes out. She reads this as worries or concerns. Transparent skin means vulnerable. Our skin's very transparent and thin, but that's with the EDS, but it's also with the vulnerability. Rough skin means going through a rough time. Moisture, damp feet mean releasing fears at a deep level. Physically, it can be a detox reaction. Severity of moisture could indicate drug or alcohol abuse, but not always. Smelly, this is what she calls the skunk effect. You are trying to make people back off so that you can get freedom from restrictions. You want some space. Of course, physically, it could be hormonal, bacterial, or poor hygiene, and some illnesses will have a related smell through the feet. Verruca, or plantar wart. There are 250 types of verruca, so we read it based on what it looks like. If it has cratered and left an indent, then it's a deep-rooted issue, so bad that it is eaten away at you. If it's raised like a cauliflower head, then it indicates intense fear, dislike, or repulsion, depending where on the foot it is. Don't forget that it will need physically treating too. So we used to have like 16 verrucas on one foot and 19 on the other when we were younger. Athlete's foot, we used to suffer that a lot when we were younger. Someone is bugging you, getting under your skin, interfering, doubting, questioning your ideas and hindering your progress. Again, remember that it needs physically treating too. So yeah, this is all when we were younger, and it's all very true, probably this stuff. Blisters, someone is rubbing you up the wrong way and you're coming off worse. Dry skin indicates a need for more warmth and nurturing, even love. It's got to start from the south. Plastic looking, this person is a bit of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. What you see is not what you get. They put on a front. Moles and freckles. I do not read freckles. Forget it. As for moles, I will only read a mole if it has recently appeared. I will only know that it has recently appeared if the client draws it to my attention, in which case I will read it as a feeling, as feeling metaphorically stabbed in the back, and use the foot map to understand what area of their life. However, I will also refer them back to their doctor, as it is unusual for a new mole to appear, and I'd rather they had it investigated for potential melanoma than ignore it. So there's more in that content, there's stories and everything, but that's just a little bit read out from each section. But yeah, that's this one over, and that's good. It's an hour and a half, so it's like 40 minutes shorter or something, half an hour shorter, so that's really good. We were going to end off with these cards. So we did these the other day with Pisces. And then we did the axes of Gemini, because Gemini is opposite Sagittarius. So we did Sagittarius, Gemini axes. And Sagittarius is in the, Gemini is in the third house, and it's an air sign. And Virgo is the sixth house. That's an earth sign. Earth is stability again, so still got the stability there. Jupiter's abundance, ninth of the house, that was related to Sagittarius. We're not on that. Moon is the soul, sun is the spirit. Water element for Pisces is sensing. We're gaining observation skills and sensing skills in the subtle energetic body. For Pisces, I believe, to gain new belief systems around the power and the empowerment of the subtle energetic body, and how it has a much more bigger impact or maximum output, most ease when we dance through the subtle energetic body. Neptune is the sacrifice. Number 10 and 12th house is escape, which is what Pisces is in. So we're just going to get out Saturn and Capricorn. Void of course moon that we're actually in at the moment is says missing. I don't really know what it means when it's missing. It's missing any energies. Capricorn is I use. It's also the number 22 on this pack, which is intuition. So we are using Capricorn energies, and we're using the subtle energetic bodies of the energetics of Capricorn, but also the void of course energies to align and bring to optimum resonant frequency our internal bones, backbone, bones, knees, skin, hair, and the structure of the body. Capricorn is in the 10th house, which is the World card in the tarot, and this is actually the World. The Capricorn is on the axes of Capricorn, or we did just have the opposite of Capricorn is Cancer, I feel, and the Cancer Capricorn axis and the Aries Libra axis is the global axis, and so that says it's the world, and the world is the globe. Cancer is in the 4th house, which is about the roots, is about your roots, where you come from, your sense of home, and we are the root chakra. We've just discovered that Capricorn is the root chakra, and the root chakra is about the roots and where one comes from. We were going to do today, but we're not. Rather than doing the opposition in 180 degrees and doing that axis, we were going to do, and it's free, that means it's 3 signs apart. So Capricorn is 3 signs apart, so it goes Capricorn. It doesn't though, does it? Aquarius, Pisces. Oh no, so if it's 6 signs apart, if it's the opposite. If you were going to do 90 degrees, it would be Aries or Libra. So 6 signs apart, 180 degrees in a straight line is Cancer. 90 degrees is Aries or Libra. So we were going to do 1 or 2 signs apart. I think we figured out that it would be 2 signs apart, so therefore it would be, for Capricorn, it would be Pisces and Scorpio. So you wouldn't look at, so your Pisces and yeah, I don't know where we're going with that, so we'll stop there, but I'm sure on listening this back to this it will have something to it. And Saturn, the word that goes with Saturn in here is truth. We're finding and understanding and waking up to our own internal truth, because we're getting to caress and love our body, our internal body, through our feet, that grounds us, so that when we tap into our inner reality, the unknown, the mystery, then we are understanding the world external from an internal perspective, because the external is a projection of our internal. So by aligning and harmonizing our internal reality, our internal perspective through our feet to keep us grounded, we are then able to project a balanced harmony out into the external projection. And if everyone does that, then we end up with a harmonic world. A world that functions in a symbiotic relationship with each other, everything, and nature. We've done the 10th house, haven't we? So I think that's everything that we've done. For us, Capricorn, and our personal natal chart, Capricorn is in the 5th house, which is creativity, which relates to Leo in the I will, in the collective chart. So this is how we overlap our personal chart with the collective chart, and we just had a bit of a release in that ankle then. So we're going to leave it there. There's nothing else that jumps out at us. We'll probably have these cards in a better order next time. We're actually, or we might not. I think it will be, today we've come on with the daily energies because we had to, because of the time, and that changes the ones of us that are out. But tomorrow I think we'll probably be on with the evening energies again, especially if we're doing stuff during the day. And then if we didn't do garden today, I'm hoping that the weather might be okay and we can do garden tomorrow. And then we'll come on and do Aquarius tomorrow, which will be the feet, the ankles and the calves. The ankles, the calves, the shin and the Achilles heel, which is amazing because we are just on the bone structure in the feet related with the reflexology. And whenever we have actions like this and our body does stuff, that's a yoga mudra. Just like when people do yoga mudras like this, just like people do yoga mudras like this, our body, when we tap into the pure innocent child within, children are doing yoga all the time. They're always doing whatever they need to do for their body to get that alignment, because that's when the programming happens, and that's where we are in those energetic states of, like children, aligning our body and reprogramming our body. So that's it for today. We've done it. We've showed up for ourselves again. It's not been too long, and the planning wasn't as much, but it still flowed okay, and there's been more healing. So again, this is us just practicing and developing. There's so much so much in tidiness, but we're going to go now, and I think we're going to rest. Bye.